Hello and welcome to PortaOne webinar about new features in PortaSwitch versions 114 through 117. Your microphones are muted, that's by design, but at any point in time you can ask your questions in the Q&A window. This webinar is going to be conducted by my colleague Svitlana Melnychuk, our project manager, and myself, my Kidik product officer. Today we are going to talk about new features, as I mentioned, in PortaSwitch, also a few developments in PortaPhone and additions to our Add-on Mart and some new features in the Cloud PBX Portal. And at the end of the webinar, it's already a tradition, we will have a special offer for you, so stay tuned. And let's start with PortaSwitch. So we'll start with a block of features which are designed mostly by Cloud PBX customers. Of course, they can be used by other customers as well, but in most cases, this will be for your business customers. And the first feature is basically ability for you to upload a list of phone numbers into the system, and then that list can be utilized in call screening rules. It simplifies the administration because you upload the list only once and then that list can be shared among multiple customers. You don't have to upload a list or set up, multiple different rules for each and every account or for each and every customer. It's a shared list. And you can have multiple lists like that. So you can upload a list of numbers which are tagged as telemarketing numbers. You can upload another list which is something else. And then for each customer in the call screening configuration, it can be decided what to do with calls coming from that list. So if it's a telemarketing list, obviously the call screening rule would be very simple. Any call coming from this list, reject it. But of course, you can set up different handling of the calls. Use call forwarding for another list or send the calls to voicemail and so on. Like you get all the power of the existing call screening feature. The only difference that instead of using some CLI patterns or some wildcards in those patterns, like putting multiple parameters to handle the call, you just tell the system to use a particular list which is uploaded by your employees, by the service provider. This should improve the service of quality for the end users because they would be getting, once you upload this list and set up the call screening rules, they should be getting less telemarketing calls, right? And it's quite easy to configure because, as I said, you just upload the list once and the call screening rules. Of course, you can set up those rules for the customer, but also the customer through the Cloud PBX Portal, for example, can set up these rules on their own. We do also provide an API method where these rules can be created in bulk for like all existing customers, for example. Now, the next feature is related to call recording, and it's basically transcription of call records. So if you enable this feature for a particular customer or account, the system will automatically create a transcription of that call recording, and it will be available for download just as a normal call recording is available. Through the self-care portal, it can be retrieved via API. So, if you have some self-care portal developed on your own or by third party, this transcription can also be retrieved through the API. We've implemented this call transcription through the Add-on Mart module, so it does require subscription to Add-on Mart. And the reason is we foresee in the future to use different suppliers of the service. The initial module that we currently have in our Add-on Mart is connected to OpenAI Whisper and uses Whisper to generate transcriptions. But we hope that either third-party developers or maybe your in-house developers, or maybe upon your request, additional modules will be developed, and those modules would work with other providers of such service. For example, Google AI, which is currently widely used for transcription of audio recordings. This feature is getting more and more popular, and the UX side, UX improvement is obvious, right? When you have a recording of 1 hour or 2 hour call, sometimes it's very difficult to find a specific piece of information in that call recording. You have to seek through that recording, find a particular spot in the call, and it takes too much time, I would say. When you have a transcription, it's text, you can do just a regular search in the text, and you can by using some, keywords that you remember about that conversation, you can easily find a relevant piece of the conversation in a matter of, a few seconds. So as I said, this feature is becoming more and more popular, and we want your Cloud PBX solution to be competitive. That's why we've implemented it. Now, in addition to call transcription on its own, we've also introduced charging for call transcriptions, but also for call recording. Up until this moment, the only way to charge for call recording was to include some extra subscription, right? I mean, when you activate call recording for a particular account or in the product, you could just include a special subscription for call recording. The problem with this approach is that, some of your customers may use call recording lightly, so they don't have that many records during a month or during their billing period. And the other customers are heavy users of call recording, and obviously coming up with a single flat price for these two different types of customers is a challenge. So from now on, you can set up a tariff. First of all, it's a new service called call recording. You can set up a tariff for that service. In the tariff, you can use two different rate codes to charge for call recording and for call transcribing. And you can put basically a price per hour. The way it works is the pricing is defined per hour. So the duration of the recording and then duration of that recording being transcribed. Since it's a tariff, there is a rate code, you can also create bundles, and you can put a specific amount of call recording into the bundle. I mean, a number of hours into the bundle. So, for example, you can create a bundle like 10 hours of call recording and 10 hours of transcription, okay? And obviously, usually when you create such bundles, you put them together with subscription. So a good option would be to put everything into add-on product. I mean, the bundle itself, the subscription, the activation of call recording and call transcription, and just assign this add-on product to those accounts who really require this particular bundle. So we hope this will be a way for you to better price this service and to get more revenue out of this service, because as we learned, one size fits all doesn't really work in business environment, right? And I would like to ask you a quick question. I have a poll available for this, so let me start it. And basically the question is, how would you be charging call recording and transcription if your customers require it? What would be your preferred way? Obviously, you could go with existing way when this service is just included into the subscription fee for extension. That is perfectly fine. You may decide to go with pay as you go, so basically just a tariff where you charge per hour of the call recording, or you could just create a new bundle with specific number of hours. So do cast your votes. We'll be closing the poll in 15 seconds. By the way, I forgot about the fourth option. Yeah, if you have ideas about a different way to charge for the service, please do write the general idea. Do type general idea into the chat box. So I would like to learn what are the possibilities you see to charge for the service. Okay, thank you very much for your votes. We have 12 votes cast. Probably I should give a little bit more time, I don't know, because it's only okay, we have half of the participants voted. Thank you. And we have a clear leader. That's surprisingly, that's bundles of hours, which obviously come with additional subscription. So that's good news. That means that at least some of our customers can use this approach to charge for the call recording and for call transcription. Thank you. I'm closing the poll now. Yeah, I can show the results now. You should see it on the screen. So, as I said, majority voted for bundles. Okay, so let's continue. We are done with Cloud PBX related features. So let's switch to something else, to a bunch of features related to the sales channels. You're probably well aware that over the last, I would say, couple of years, we've been replacing portals for sales agents like Reseller portal, distributor portal, and now representative portal with modern-looking new web interface, which looks similar to the current administrator interface. So representative portal was the last one in line, and there is not much to talk about it. I have a partial screenshot of the web interface. You can see how it looks. But let me, for those of you who are probably not aware what was this entity representative, let me just briefly explain what it is. That's basically a partner which works as a sales agent, basically subscribing new customers for you. And the good thing about this one is that you can, at the end of the billing period for this representative, you can run reports, like for example, revenue report or payments report. So it will include revenue generated by all those customers that this particular representative signed up. And then you can also use a commission scheme, which will automatically calculate commission based on the revenue. So basically, this is a revenue sharing model where you pay a recurring commission to your sales agent. I know that a few our customers actually use it to calculate commissions for their sales managers. I mean, not for some external sales representatives, but for their staff that they have in the company, for sales managers. So that's also an option. And now, in the previous slide, I mentioned that we finished replacing the portals, the old outdated portals, with modern looking one. And I wasn't entirely honest with you, because there used to be one more portal on the old interface, and that was called CC Staff Portal. For those of you who don't know, these are basically, they can be used by resellers, and these are basically additional users that reseller can set up. We decided not to create a new portal for this CC Staff. CC stands for customer care, by the way. So we decided not to create a new portal. Instead, we decided to take a different route, a route similar to the one we did with customers. As you know, approximately a year ago, we introduced customer individuals, and these are basically additional logins for your business customers. And these individuals are assigned a role. So basically, the access for each individual can be customized. They can get access to only to particular data on the self-care portal. It's the same story with reseller individuals. Just the only difference is customer individuals are obviously employees of your customer, and reseller individuals are employees of reseller. So these additional users, they also get a role assigned, so you can customize access, like what each user can have access to. And it will basically, it uses the same reseller portal as the main reseller credentials, and it is designed to replace CC Staff Portal. You don't have to worry if you have resellers and some of them use this CC Staff credentials. You don't have to be worried, because during the update to the new version, CC Staff credentials will be automatically converted to reseller individuals. So we hope with this improvement, you will have more chances to sign up resellers. They will be more eager to work with you and to manage their customers through the reseller portal that you provide to them. And we hope that it will increase your sales. Now, another feature is something that I need to take a step back first, because it is designed for a very peculiar business model. So the business model is like that. You are a service provider and you do have resellers, like who provide white labeled packages and products to their customers, but you design products and packages for these resellers. So you as administrator create a product, include everything that has to be included in the product, and then you just pick a checkbox which says this product is shared with resellers. Then reseller takes those products and sells them on the market under their own brand. I know that this business model is very popular in the Netherlands. If you do have some resellers like that in your country, please do mention. I would like to learn about other markets that use this model. Please do mention your country in the chat box. So basically, when we introduce this model, we also allowed in these products that are shared with reseller to include a pair of subscriptions, which means there is obviously a subscription to charge the end user, the customer of reseller, but you can also include a subscription to charge reseller. And this is designed for one particular purpose. You know, back in the old days, everything was charged per minute. And with our previous reseller model, you could only get revenue from per minute charges toward reseller. But obviously the market changed over the last 20 years, if not more. And resellers these days obviously create packages and bundles and charge a subscription fee for those bundles. So this way is to recover some revenue, if you like, or get a share of the reseller's revenue. So if reseller set up a product which is charged at $20 per month, their customers are charged $20 per month, you can add a subscription with which would simultaneously charge a reseller $10 per month. And we had an option for resellers to manipulate or adjust the price for each particular customer. They could do a discount or an upcharge when they assign that product to a specific account of their customer. Now you can also do the same with reseller charges. When you sign up a new reseller, you can also decide that for this particular reseller, for example, the subscription fee should not be $10 per user, maybe a little bit more with upcharge or maybe a little bit less with discount. It simplifies product management a lot for this business model because you don't have to create a new version of the product every time the pricing changes. You just create a single product or maybe 3 products the resellers require, and then just for each reseller, you decide how to manipulate the price using discounted upcharges. That's it for the sales channels. Let's now speak about integrations with third-party systems. And in my list here, I have mostly systems related to mobile markets. Obviously, the first one, BNG, stands for Network Gateway, Broadband Network Gateway, can be used in any service of providing internet access. But the other two are just vendors of mobile core, and we've done integration with them, and we also checked that, run rigorous tests to check that, calls, SMS, and internet access are charged correctly. So you may choose either IPLOOK or WTL if you want to enter a mobile market or you need to replace your mobile core that you currently have. BNG is used for shaping traffic. It's like a DPI solution which can track different types of traffic and can reduce bandwidth once the specific limit is reached and so on. So we hope if you are not yet into the mobile market, using our integrations and using Porta Billing, you can open new revenue streams in the mobile world. And the last feature is rather technical. It's designed mostly for developers. You know that API was available in Porta Billing for quite a long time. I actually remember that the first methods were introduced at the end of 2006. So our existing API is almost 20 years old. And we've heard a few examples when developers had troubleshooting their work. I mean, the code that they develop, maybe some self-care portal, maybe something else. When they utilize Porta Billing API and something goes wrong, it was a bit difficult for them to understand why something went wrong. Was it a request malformed? Was it something else? So we introduced Trace ID, which can be either supplied in every API request, and then it's also included in the API response when you get the response from Porta Billing. And using this Trace ID, it's very easy to find specific part of the log on the client side or on the web server side or on both sides. It's very easy to locate a particular piece of the log to understand why a particular request failed. And you don't have to worry about this change, hey, does it mean that if I update my PortaSwitch, I need to change the code of my portal or some other applications that we develop? No, the answer is no, because Trace ID is not a mandatory parameter. If the client does not provide a Trace ID, it is automatically generated on the server side. So if your developer writes some web page which fetches the list of your customers, right? So they use method getCustomerList, and they don't provide the Trace ID. And then they get a response, basically an error in the response that, sorry, no customer list. They can immediately, but in that response, they will get Trace ID generated by the server. And then they can immediately locate the Trace ID in the server logs and read why the request failed. For example, we had a real life example when on the staging on the development platform, connectivity to the database was lost for a few seconds. So the developer could clearly see in the logs that the request failed not because it's malformed, not because something is wrong with the request, but because just temporarily the connection to the database from the web server was lost. So the developer just runs the request again, and they got the result the list of customers or whatever they were querying. Now I'm passing the microphone to Svitlana. She will be talking about some other features, but before we do that, let me tell you one thing. If you do have a question, please, instead of raising hand, just type your question into the Q&A section of Zoom. And once we finish this presentation, we will allocate enough time to discuss your questions and to answer your questions. Thank you.
Okay, so hello everyone. I'll continue the presentation, and now let's move on to our next topic, our progress with the Cloud PBX Portal development. I'm pleased to introduce new tools that empower call center supervisor to enhance their team's efficiency and deliver an exceptional customer experience. First, with MR114 and later, I'm happy to present our supervisor dashboard. This panel allows supervisors to use features like spy, whisper, barge-in, monitor the performance of agents, and access basic call statistics, making it easier for supervisors to provide immediate training and support their frontline customer service experts. Next, in Cloud PBX Portal version 3.1.1, which is compatible with PortaSwitch maintenance release 114 and later, I want to share our call console. This tool provides a list of active calls that gets updated in real time, eliminating the need for time-consuming manual refreshes. And what are the key benefits? First, administrators will experience improved usability with real-time updates, allowing them to monitor active calls and agent activities. Second, the enhanced customer experience comes from having instant visibility into the number of active calls. This empowers call center managers to make quicker decisions, reducing customer wait time, and ensuring prompt responses. And finally, by removing the need for manual refreshes, both managers and agents can focus on what truly matters, resolving customer issues and optimizing overall performance. Now let's discuss the latest PortaPhone updates. It's been a busy time for our team, and we rolled out some exciting features you've been waiting for. First, I'm happy to announce that our chat functionality is now live. Users can send instant messages and create group chats. This leads to increased engagement and empower customer satisfaction through better communication, and provide your service packages with a competitive edge. Next, we have added SMS support. Users can now send and receive SMSs directly in PortaPhone, unlocking new revenue streams for you. We have integrated Twilio as a proof of concept, but the goal is to work with carriers in your local market that offers the lowest rates. We have integrated with SipSimple, and it already works, which will allow to send SMS to PortaSip and then to SMPP carriers. And we are looking for customers to help us to test it with real carriers to make sure it goes smoothly. So if you're already using SMPP connection with PortaSip, please let us know. You can send us an email and help us with this. Why SMS is important? It opens up new revenue opportunities, offer higher profit margins than traditional calls, and enables you to create scalable SMS packages tailored to your clients' needs. And finally, we have introduced embedded custom pages. You can now integrate tailored content directly into PortaPhone, whether it's client dashboards, some support pages, or special offers, providing your users with a seamless experience. With these updates, PortaPhone helps to stay ahead in the market by delivering a complete communication solution for your clients. Alright, let's move on to our next topic, which focused on new models within our marketplace, Add-on Mart. I'm pleased to announce that we have added more CRM platform options through PressOne. Previously, we introduced the HubSpot integration in our last webinar, and now we added Zoho CRM integration as well. This enhances your ability to connect with clients and streamline operations. If you need integration with another CRM, which is popular among your customers, please share the name of it in the chat window so we can continue expanding our offerings. Next, I want to introduce the PortaPhone web widget. This embedded widget allows you to integrate a dial pad, phone book, click-to-dial functionality directly into your CRM or CX platform or Cloud PBX Portal. With the PortaPhone web widget, authorized users can make and receive voice calls, view contact list, and initiate call just by clicking on a phone number from any web page. Plus, you can brand it with, for example, with your logo. The PortaPhone web widget utilizes WebRTC technology and connects seamlessly to the PortaPhone backend. To use it, you'll need to activate PortaPhone subscription first. The pricing structure is straightforward. One subscription provides a single instance of the Add-on Mart model with unlimited users, but it's typically associated with a specific brand. In the screenshot, you can see the PortaPhone web widget embedded into the Cloud PBX Portal. These new models in Add-on Mart can expand your business opportunities and offer additional possibility for your clients. Now, back to Mike.
Thank you, Svitlana. Let me briefly now touch about what we are working right now and what you can expect to receive in the near future. First of all, we are currently working on a new tariff upload. Basically, after we are done with it, we can finally discontinue the old web interface that's been in the product for more than 20 years. Yeah, so this should be done in a matter of like a month or something. Then in September, we started development of the charging by CLI and CLD. And it's designed for generic case, not just for those like calls within European Union, calls from outside European Union. It's designed for virtually any case. We collected probably more than a dozen example tariffs for companies like Deutsche Telekom and others. And we tried to design a solution which would cover all these spreadsheets. So it's a huge feature. We have already started the implementation of it, but I expect that it will take us the rest of the year to get it done. And during the previous webinar, I introduced API 2.0, and we continue working on it. We added quite a lot of methods and entities into that API. And now, the next couple of months, we will focus on extending API methods, particularly required to develop sign-up portals. So like any web page, any portal where you would be onboarding your customers, like all the methods that are required for such portals, we will try to get them delivered as soon as possible. And as usual, we'll be happy to work on any feature requests that you have, any business ideas, anything that is missing in PortaSwitch. Please share your ideas with our support and we'll take it from there, and we'll be happy to work on these features. For those of you who would like to meet PortaOne in person, we will be exhibiting at AfricaCom or AfricaTech in Cape Town on November 11th through 14th. And before that trade show, we organized a meetup, like a mini customer conference in Johannesburg on November 8th. That's the Friday before the week of the AfricaCom. So if you are already in Africa or you plan to travel there for AfricaCom or any other reason, and for some reason you haven't received an invitation yet, please contact your account manager or CSM and let's get your participation arranged. And then we will exhibit traditionally at Mobile World Congress, but that's going to be in March of 2025. And now the special offer that I mentioned at the beginning of our webinar. We have an updated new version of the white paper about dual version, but I'm not going to speak about dual version now because you are probably well aware of that concept already. I would like to speak about PortaSwitch in the cloud and how dual version can help you migrate to the cloud. The benefit of the PortaSwitch deployed in the cloud is obvious, right? You get rid of any burden related to hardware, like its maintenance, replacement, whatever. And when you deploy PortaSwitch in the cloud, everything is handled by us. The showstopper that we've learned for this migration for a few customers of ours was switching traffic from IP addresses that are used by your on-premise installation right now to any other installation. So if you do it on-premise, you deploy another set of servers, which means additional hardware. I mean, if you do dual version migration on-premise, you deploy additional set of servers, you assign IP addresses that at some point you need to swap the IPs. It's more burden. With cloud and with dual version approach, all these problems are gone because yes, the IP addresses in the cloud would be obviously different, right? But since you go through the dual version, it means you deploy a newer version of PortaSwitch in the cloud, for example, in Oracle Cloud. Yes, it will have different IP addresses, but what you can do with dual version, you can migrate your customers in small batches or even one by one from the old platform to the new platform in the cloud. And this concept is already proven. We've already migrated a few customers or a few customer installations this way, and it's tested, it's proven, it's working. So I encourage you to utilize cloud installations and dual version approach to get your PortaSwitch to a newer version. More details you can find in the white paper. And let's now do the Q&A session. There is a Q&A window in the Zoom. So please, if you have any questions, please type it there. If you have difficulties locating Q&A section, no problem. You can type your questions in the chat box. That's also fine. I just learned that in Zoom, it's easier to find the chat than Q&A. So let me see if we have any question. Okay, so if there are no questions, I guess we are done for today. Okay, we got a question about switchboard module, full switchboard module. If your question is about front end, like the actual receptionist page, okay, we've done it in the past, even a few times, but we don't develop those front end solutions ourselves. We have partners, and this receptionist modules or switchboard or operator console, as it's called, it is already available in our Add-on Mart. So it's developed by third party, but it's tested with PortaSwitch and it works and it utilizes PortaSwitch API to do it. Any other questions? Okay, then thank you very much for the attention and have a nice day. Bye.
Bye.